Good evening, everybody. It's Lynn here, the Go Live Granny, and I am live streaming here on Sunday, and I believe it's the 26th of January, 2025. Let's get the year right. I've been getting the year wrong, often do that in the January broadcasts, but it is a 2025. My goodness. How the years fly by. So some of you, those that are keen viewers, will notice that I'm not in my usual venue tonight. I am away, but I'm away, not away at my daughter's. I'm now away at another member of the family. I've been whizzing around, and here I am towards. Hi, Joe. Nice to see you. Yes, I'm very well. I've been whizzing around the country, and I'm with another family member now, so I'm sort of more over to the east of the UK at the moment. Hello, happy Australia Day. Oh, well, that's interesting, Richard. I'd forgotten it was Happy Australia Day, and Joe is in Australia. He's just come in from, well, I presume you're in Australia at the moment, are you, Joe? Unless you're coming in from somewhere else. So Joe is one of our wonderful supporters. He hasn't been in the broadcast, hasn't seen me for a while. Look, but he was a keen supporter from Australia, and it happens to be Australia Day. So happy or yeah, yes, oh right, he is talking. He might be just saying generally happy, but look, there we are. Happy Australia Day and India Republic Day. So there we are. We'll all say Happy Australia Day to you, Joe. So we've got our YouTubers in at the moment. We haven't got anybody yet in on Facebook, but I'm sure they will be there in a minute, a hot minute or two. So to be honest, I don't even know where I am really. I've been whizzing around. I've been to my daughter's a lot. I went home last Sunday. I broadcast from my home last Sunday. Those of you who were watching in last time would have seen me in my familiar surroundings at my home. And then on Wednesday, I went back to my daughter's, had one day there. And then on Thursday, I was home I was at my daughter's on Thursday. On Friday, I set off on my journeys again, and more shenanigans. So Joe's saying, hi Richard, thank you for the wishes. It's now the observed public holiday. If Australia Day falls on a Sunday, we get the Monday off as the observed holiday. Oh, right. So it's Australia Day today, but you get your day off tomorrow. That's excellent. Tina just coming in there on YouTube as well. Hello, Tina. Nice to see you. So I am sitting in someone else's craft room, a family member's craft room, and I'm feeling very comfortable in this craft room. It's really nice. It's a very organised craft room, far more organised than mine. We got some Kallax units over to the side here. We've got various bits and pieces, much more tidy than mine. There's even a sofa there. Look, oh, there's a little toadstool keeping an eye on us. And there's various things around here. And I have had a ding dong. The window cleaner is in the house. Steve has just come in. Hello, Steve. We still got nobody in yet. Richard, can you see if Facebook is okay? Now, nobody come in from Facebook yet, so I don't know. Is it working okay on Facebook? I hope it is. Otherwise, I don't know what's happening here. Hello, Heather in on YouTube as well. Well, it was I normally I'm set up my own broadcast, but tonight I had my production team was here. I'm actually at my son's house, and the one who taught me to live stream, and he set the broadcast up. So I hope we did have Facebook there, but I can't see if anybody's coming in on Facebook. So if anybody can go and check Facebook and see whether it's there as well, that would be great. So Heather's coming in from the States. Steve is coming in from the UK. Joe is coming in from Australia. He needs some windows. Oh, what's the thumbs down? Does that mean we haven't got Facebook in? With the thumbs down, does that mean we haven't got Facebook in? Could you magically levitate over to clean the windows in us? Oh, there we are. Thank you. Thanks, Heather. Brilliant. That's wonderful. So we have Joe wants Steve to go and clean his windows in Australia. So if he can magically levitate instead of a flying carpet, maybe we could have a flying ladder. And Steve could go on his flying ladder like Aladdin and go over and do the windows and then come back. But you might miss the broadcast if you do that. So maybe do it after the broadcast. Steve is going to tie his ladders on top of the plane. Okay, there we go. So look, there we are. We can now see that Heather has come in on Facebook. Joe's come. Here we are. Another comment from the Facebook side. That's it. It's just when they were all coming on YouTube. Usually we get people in on Facebook straight away, and I wasn't quite sure. So anyway, thank you, folks. Thank you to my team. Yes, when I was getting ready just now, I'd set the broadcast up, but I just was going to get myself ready, get my drink of water, do my bit before I come on broadcast. And my son acted as the production team. He even found me a tripod. Normally, I have my phone balanced on a whole pile of boxes and a little stand, but he's actually found me a tripod. So here you are, we're in proper business tonight. So Steve said he could float over the rooftops like Mary Poppins, ladder in one hand, bucket in the other. I can see the picture now. In the other, feet apart at the heels. And then if you click your heels, oh no, clicking the heels, that's not any of that. That's the Wizard of Oz, isn't it? If you click your heels, there's no place like home. But they have to be red heels, don't they? So anyway, I've had a fun week. I've had a shenanigans week with the travel. So let me see. I can't remember. Are you cold, Lynn? You're thoroughly wrapped up. It's not that hot up here, and this room, I've got a heater on now. I just put the heater on in here now, so it's coming warm behind me, but it wasn't that warm. This is my lovely silly wig that I made, and that keeps me nice and warm. And it just, whoops, we've lost some of the curls. Where have the curls gone? Not the curls. So there we go. I'm nice and warm, thank you. So Joe's saying he's getting a new vlogging specific camera soon, a Canon PowerShot V10 vlogging camera. $699 for it though. Oh dear, that's not so good. But I don't know. I'm going to ask my son about vlogging, because I'm a live streamer. I've never done vlogging, but I do lots of little bits of video these days, and I was wondering whether it's something I ought to try. But if it's too complicated to vlog and get all those bits of video together, then I'm not going to do it, because I don't want a hard life. I want an easy life. Steve's saying all good. His mum's got a new boiler and she's got heating, hot water again, all sorted yesterday. Excellent. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. So she's nice and warm, is she? So Richard's saying there's no one on Facebook at the moment. Oh, can somebody tag Debs? I was talking to Debs, and I'm going to be meeting up with Debs and Kath tomorrow, because they are not far from where I am. I'm not going to announce where I'm going to be, because I don't know that that's always a good idea on social media. But I am meeting up with 2 members of the Go Live Granny community tomorrow, and then on Tuesday I'm meeting with Richard as I go back on my travels back to Wiltshire. Here we are. Oh, Debs is in, but she said the comments were not working. Okay, they're working now. So there we go. And Joe said he's posted some comments on the Facebook side. Yes, I saw your comments, Joe. So that's it. I could see that. So, as I say, I'm not going to announce exactly where I'm meeting up with Debs and Kath tomorrow, but it will be lovely to catch up. Debs and I have met. We met some years ago when I was up more this part of the world. Well, not quite this part of the world, but I was sort of somewhere a bit further over in the country. And we met up, and it's not showing in the UK Facebook. Oh, that's funny, but right, okay, I don't know why that is. Hello Deb, it's a Go Live party here. I can provide the party lights. Excellent. Change your top chat to live chat. Oh right, Joe's giving you some top tips there. Okay, thanks Joe for that. So Let's have a look. Right, so I'm just going to have a little drink of water. I've just had a wonderful curry that my son cooked for me. It's not bad when you've got a qualified chef as your host. And my son is, amongst other things, he's a qualified chef. So he's pretty good. He's made me some pretty lovely meals. And he keeps providing some marvellous snack plates for me because I'm trying to stick to Slimming World. Hello, Fraser Park Lifestyle. Hello. Wow, cool, Granny. I'm not cool, I'm nice and warm. But I think you mean cool in the cool sense, not the cold sense. And yes, I'm keeping nice and warm. And I put this in my luggage today because when I travel on the trains, I get passenger assist. A lot of you will know I have passenger assist because I have to be helped on and off trains, and I have a walker because my mobility is not as good as it used to be. And I've had New Year boppers on my head. I've had Christmas passes on my head lately. And then it was nothing. So I thought, oh, I better put this in. This is one I made. Look, so let me show you. I make lots of these. Look, I've got some with me. Sometimes when I've got a few minutes spare, I'll crochet some curls, and then I've made quite a few of these. And some people have bought them for charity, and I've sold them for charity. So one of my viewers, Paul, in Devon, not been watching for a while, but he wanted a blue one because he was doing a run for the prostate cancer charity, which was blue. So I made one of these all in blue. I had one for yellow when it was Go Yellow Day on the Isle of Wight. I had one that was all yellow. What else? I've done red ones. I've done all sorts. I've done Christmas ones with red, green, and red, white, and green. I've had all sorts. So anyway, I'm going to put it back, but I can't remember which way round it goes. Oh, I think that's the front. Yes, that's the front. Otherwise, if I put it the wrong way round, the curls will cover my face. So let's have a look. Let's just, I don't want to miss these comments. So thank goodness for you, sons. Absolutely. That's what, who's saying that? Thank goodness for our sons. That's it, Steve. Yes, you look after your mums, and my son looks after me very well. And we also planning some more stuff to get my website up again and to get more stuff on there, and more about that in a little while maybe. So Richard's saying, of course, chimney sweet, but still alone. I think you mean he's still alive. Dick Van Dyke is 99. Oh my goodness. Yes, Dick Van Dyke. Let's go fly. No, chimney. I'm singing the wrong song, aren't I? Hopeless. So Heather loves my hat. I tell you what, I've made these for lots of different people, and I do love it, and I do get a lot of comments when I wear it. So yeah, that's it. How is that possible? Joe says, for Dick Van Dyke is going to be 100 this year. That is a pretty good innings, isn't it? That's what my family would have said. That's a pretty good innings. And he says, as is Matt and Julie Andrews. Right, okay, they're all a lot older than they were. A lot of water gone under the bridge since then. Heather says she's got very long, naturally curly hair, so I remind her of her, but not quite so coloured, Heather, I'm sure. Richard's looking forward to meeting up with me on Tuesday, and I will be going through Birmingham on Tuesday. I will reveal that. So if anybody else is in the Birmingham area, message me privately if you want to meet up. But we're not gonna put exactly where we're going to be, because I never think it's good to pinpoint exactly like that. So there we go. He was great in Mary Poppins Returns too. That's excellent, Mary. That's right. Okay, let's have a look. Right, wait a minute. Richard can provide drinks. Do you mean you can provide drinks on Tuesday when I'm meeting you, or do you mean you're going to provide drinks now here in our party? Peter, hello, Peter. Think young, stay. I think think young, safe young. I think you probably mean think young, stay young. That's probably supposed to say stay. I'm not sure, but I think that's what you probably mean. We better not talk about Dick Van Dyke. He probably will die now. We don't want to do that. Please think young, stay young. That's it. That's what I thought you meant, Peter. So, so it's been a very busy week for me, backwards and forwards. Now, some of you will remember, I don't know if you can cast your minds back to after Christmas when I was trying to get from Manchester, the Manchester area, the north. I was trying to get back to my daughter in Wiltshire. And it was the 27th of December, and I got to the station and they told me to go home and come back the next day because all the trains were cancelled. Well, all the trains weren't cancelled. They tried to pretend they were, and I don't know why. It wasn't very helpful, the guy at the ticket office, when he said that. So I thought, well, they're not all cancelled. I'm sure there'll be a way. And so there was a way, and the Avanti West Coast train people put me on a train for Euston. So I went down from Manchester area down to Euston and across to Wiltshire. Normally I don't like going through London because if I've got to go on the tube, it doesn't work because I have my trolley, my trolley that helps me walk, my Navy Nora, and usually bags of luggage. So I don't normally do that. But I said, well, I don't like going through London. And they said, oh, it's all right. You go into Euston and you come out of Euston. So I didn't have to change trains on that occasion. But, the fact that the trains were all delayed, I was hoping for a full refund, and I was only 50 minutes late. And at 15 minutes, you get your first bit of the refund. At half an hour, you get some more. And then you have to wait to 60 minutes before you get any more. So I only will get a half refund. But it was one of those where it was very tricky for me to find all the bits of the tickets that I needed and do the replay claim. And I hadn't done it. And I was trying to do it on Thursday night. And I thought, right, I've got 28 days to this. I think today's the 28th day. Well, as it happened, it was only the 27th day. And I was giving up because I was losing the will to live, trying to find the information I needed, trying to do it on my phone and not a computer. I think I did manage to get my daughter's laptop out, but I couldn't get all the information together. It wasn't a full refund. It'd probably be about £15, which is, better than poking the eye with a burnt stick. But I was just getting too stressed. And then I looked, I sort of thought, well, is 28 days, when you count 28 days, do you count the day you're on or the next day? And I asked Google, and Google counted 28 days on, and they start the next day. So it was the Friday. And so it meant that Friday was the 28th day. So if I got my claim in by midnight, I should be all right. Well, of course, I had some shenanigans on my travels here. I don't know why I need to alter this because my curls keep sliding off that bit. I'll have to do that's better. I'll have to do an alteration. So I thought, well, let's see if my son can help me when I get there. But of course, I got here later than I should have been, and coming on this journey. I was running a bit late. I had shenanigans and I was running late, and it was it was one of those, will it go over the hour or won't it? And then just before I got to my destination, there was a red signal on the train, and we got held at the signal for about 2 minutes. And when I pulled into my destination, it was an hour and 2 minutes late. So I will get a full refund on this one. That's good. I'm going back to the island. I needed a full refund. Coming back from the island, I need a full refund. I have had so many shenanigans. But this, I'm trying to think of all the different shenanigans. They're all rolling into one now because I've done so many journeys lately, and I have been documenting them on my way up and down the country, and some of you will have seen me with pictures of all the people assisting me, and most of them have been lovely and friendly and helping me and all that. And then I got to Birmingham New Street, and I'd arrived there later than I should have been, so I'd missed the train I should have been on. But the passenger assist people got me, and they took me to a wonderful passenger assist lounge. Cool, what a posh station that is now. It's all nicely been done out. And the lounge was like it was for me personally, because it's purple. It's got purple paintwork, it's got purple lights, and the staff wear purple. So it was just like it was there for me. So anyway, so I spent some time in the passenger lounge while they sorted out what was the next train that they were going to put me on. So anyway, I got to my destination here 1 hour and 2 minutes afterwards. So I have got another refund coming. Drinks here and Richard says he's bringing drinks now for the party, the party we're having tonight. Okay, let's just go back. Hang on. Right, okay, so Joe's saying he'll be the big 4-0 this year, and I'm now worrying about colonoscopies. Every birthday after this is another birthday closer to having a camera stuck up somewhere. Whoo, which we won't mention. It should not be stuck up. No, it should not. But on the other hand, sometimes that's the only way they can, or that's the best way for finding out the information. Richard saying his poor friend Mike has just recovered from pneumonia and boiler been off since Friday. Well, I can tell you, recovering from pneumonia, at least he is recovering from pneumonia, and I did. Of course, you will know I almost died of pneumonia, but I am here 2 and a bit years on, and full of beans and full of the joys of spring. Spring not here anytime soon. It's pretty cold outside, but... And also, I was worried about travelling on the weekend because here in the UK, we had amber weather warnings and red weather warnings, and I was watching the weather to see whether I should be travelling or not. And in the end, from Wiltshire, where I was, and Kath was watching the weather with me, and we were chatting about it. And actually, it wasn't too bad on the part of the country that I was travelling. So I was going up to Birmingham and across. All the real bad weather was further up, but of course it did impact on the train, on some of the trains, and that's what caused some of the issues about why I was delayed. I mean, I was going back the other way, but I don't know. It obviously impacts where the trains end up and that sort of thing. So I had a lovely journey. I met a lot of lovely people on the train. The only ones that wouldn't have their pictures taken, and there were 2 of them, but it was one guy was obviously senior to the other. There was a sort of like a trainee passenger assist guy at Birmingham New Street, and the one that was training him and keeping an eye on him. I said, "Oh, can we have a photo for social media?" He said, "No." I said, "Oh, okay." He said, no, we don't do that. I thought, well, everybody else did. You know, there was a guy at Reading. Oh, that was so funny. No, was that? Oh no, that wasn't this trip. The Reading trip wasn't this trip. The Reading trip was the previous journey, and that one was so funny because when I went back to the islands last Sunday, I was running late. And I'd got to Reading Station, which is one of the stations I change at quite regularly. And the train was late getting into Reading. And Reading's a big station, so you've got, you got to go down a platform, because I'm usually at one end of the train or the other. The disabled areas are either one end or the other end of the train. And so, of course, I probably was the furthest end from where the lifts are and that sort of thing. So and I did recount this bit last Sunday evening because it was Sunday that this happened. So I was going through Reading and we'd come into Reading late and I didn't have much connection time. My connection time from this train to this train had suddenly gone from this to like this, and it's a big station, so I have to go down a long platform, go to the lift, up in the lift or down in the lift. I can't remember whether I'm going up or down. probably up in the lift, that's right, across the concourse, find another lift, go down in the lift, and lots of walking around. And I felt like I was on some sort of treadmill. I was I was going so fast. Well, I was trying to go fast. I'm not. I don't go fast by any manner of means. But the guy he'd helped, Mario, his name is, and he helped me again. This he helped me going when I was going home to the island, and then when I came back through Reading, he was the same guy that helped me again. So last Sunday, as I say, he helped me off the train. He put the ramp down and got me off the train. Then he has to go and put the ramp back and clip it into where it goes. So he said, you head on down to the lift and I'll catch you up. So of course I'm slow. He comes running up behind me. Then he overtakes me and goes to the lift. But the first bit of the lift, there's a big queue for the lift, which means that those people are going to get in. Then the lift's going to go up or down or whichever way it's going. And then it's got to come back for me. So he ran around the other side because he knew there was a lift on the other side. So we ran around there and we got in the lift and we went whichever way we were going. Because I can't remember whether it was up or down now because it's too confusing. And so we went there. Oh no, we were going up from the platform. We went up to the concourse. And then we had to run across the concourse over to another lift. And again, there was a lift there, but he thought, oh no, we won't go there. We'll go round the corner. And round the corner, there was nobody in front. But when the lift came, it had about 5 enormous suitcases in it and about 2 people. So 2 people couldn't get 5 suitcases out very quickly. So the guy helping me was trying to get the suitcases out so that we could get in. So when we got in, as soon as we got in and we got down to the lift opening, he's radioing ahead to his colleagues to say, put the ramp down. If Lily's on her way. And they put the ramp down, which then means the train can't go because it can't go if it's got a ramp attached. Well, it could shrunk, but it wouldn't be very sensible. So once they've got the ramp down, it holds the train. And I got on the train. I was out of breath, but I got on the train. This time, when I was coming back from the island to go through Reading, we had 15 minutes to do that reverse bit. So coming back into Reading and going the other way, the reverse, going back to Wiltshire. We had so much time. 15 minutes is a long time for changing platforms. And so this time, you might have seen it. I put it out on social media. We did a stroll. We had time to stroll, a leisurely stroll, and I put the video camera on. We videoed, and he was waving while we strolled along this time. Very different from last Sunday. So that was so nice to have a leisurely stroll. Let's have a look at the comments. Richard saying, housing associations are useless. Drinks here and you're buying my drink on Tuesday. Oh, thank you, Richard. That's very kind of you. Joe had to travel by train in 2018. He got a message from New South Wales Trainlink telling me my train was changed to a road coach for the entire journey. I rang them to confirm and I got a small refund due to it. Well, here in the UK, Joe, if the trains are more than 15 minutes late, I thought it was half an hour, but apparently if it's 15 minutes, you get a refund, and then it's proportionate, but it becomes a full refund when it goes over the hour. So I like it to be just over an hour. I don't like it to be 2 hours because I don't want to be too late, but if it's over an hour, I don't mind because I get the refund. And so I only will end up paying for one journey out of about the last 5 or 6 because they've all been late. Or full price for them. 1 or 2 of them will be a half refund. Richard's saying that Joe is a young whippersnapper. Yes, there's a lot of us in here who are quite a bit older than that. Funnily enough, the contracted New South Wales Trainlink coach operator supplied 1 coach and a friend's company supplied 2 coaches. I wished to be on one of my friend's coaches. I did end up on one of theirs. Right, okay, very nice. Debs is putting her order in. So we've got the naughty step back again. So those of you who don't know, way back in when we were live streaming in COVID, we had a lot of people in the broadcast and they were all starting to be naughty and they were using rude words like knickers and all that sort of thing. And if anybody said knickers, I sent them to the naughty step. And then we ended up with lots of people on the naughty step because they decided they were going to have a party on the naughty step and they were going to bring Baileys and snacks and all these other things. And we had a lot of amusement around the naughty step. And Debs obviously wants to bring back the naughty step. So we will do that. We'll bring back the naughty step, shall we? Joe's saying he's 20 again, second time over. I'm 20 and 20 and 20 and some. I'm going to be 75 this year. So, you know, I was 20. I met my first husband when I was 20, got married at 21. I did get married again when I was 40, so not to the same husband. This was to the second husband. I don't have a husband now. I'm happily single and enjoying myself. And then I'm going to be 75 this year and having a lot of fun, as you can see. Richard's saying there were daffodils out in York. There were daffodils in my daughter's street in Wiltshire. We noticed one of the there's a tree in a neighbour's garden and it had some daffodils around it as well. Richard's a lot older, a bit older, no, a bot older, but a bit older is what he meant. You're only as old as the woman you squeeze. Yes, I knew it as you're only as old as the man you feel. But I think we'll move on, or we'll all be on the naughty step with that sort of talk. Steve's saying, which room is this? That stripy wallpaper is very stripy. Yes, I'm in my son's fiance's craft room. And I will tell you about what I've been up to in the craft room because I have had some exciting time in the craft. So I'll tell you about the crafting after I have finished the shenanigans. But I can't remember all the shenanigans unless I write it all down. So many shenanigans happened over the last few days that you know, it's hard to remember. And of course, I now have to remember it all for claiming the refunds. So I know that on one of the trips home, I was going to miss I already was an hour late, and then I was going to miss came off the train, and then I needed to get on the hover bus outside Portsmouth and Southsea to go and get on the hover bus to get on the hovercraft. And instead of having 9 minutes connection time to get off, and so what I would have needed to do is get off the train, walk along the platform, down in the lift, across the concourse and out of the station building and just around the corner for the hover bus. 9 minutes is usually ample for that. Sometimes I even have time to go to the toilet. Shh, too much information. But on this occasion, the train was 8 minutes late, which gave me 1 minute to do that journey. Not enough even for probably a gold medalist. I don't think they'd have done it in a minute either. So on that occasion, and I did tell you before, I've got to attend to this because you can just keep seeing the red and not all the lovely curls because they're falling over the side. I don't know why. You can't get the wig makers these days, can you? I'll sack the person who made this wig. I'll give her the sack and a bag to put it in, as my gran would have said. Anyway, so yes, so on that occasion, that was the occasion when Mark, the guy with the big hair at Portsmouth and Southsea, and that's all I could describe him as. He quickly told me what his name. I took a picture of him quickly, but you know we didn't have any time because I was going to miss the hover bus. I was going to miss the hovercraft and all that, and he didn't want me to, so we didn't have time to stop and pose for pictures. I took a very quick picture, and I said, "What's your name?" And he said, "Mark." And it was only later when I put it up on social media, and I said, "This is Mark. I don't know Mark who," and people identified him and said, "Oh, he's a good guy." And he was a good guy because he stuck me in a taxi and got me round to the hover bus takes 10 minutes to get from the hoverport, stopping at various stops on the way to going from Portsmouth and Southsea Station round to the hover terminal. It takes 10 minutes because it stops at lots of stops on the way. But if you get in a taxi, it just goes straight to the hoverport, and I got there with 5 minutes to spare, so that was amazing. So let's have a look. So this is where I am. I'm in my my future daughter-in-law's one of my future daughter-in-law's craft room, and I'm very comfortable and cozy in here, and it's very beautifully way tidier than my craft room. So anyway, well, she's 18 years younger in your case, and extremely smart and kind. Oh, the woman you squeeze. Right, okay, Rich. I wondered who you're talking about for a minute. Um, Joe's saying, Steve, that wallpaper is very, very trippy. Trippy or stripy, do you mean? Takes you back to the 60s. Mind you, you were born in 1985. You're a 1980s baby, yes. So my youngest was born in 81. And Steve's saying you really are a baby. He was 14 in 1980. Can't believe you hit 60 next year. Oh, and here's Kath. Kath is in the house. I'm seeing Kath tomorrow. I've got withdrawal symptoms because Kath and John used to live on the island. And they've left the island, but then so have I. I'm hardly ever there now. And so I'm meeting up with them tomorrow. As I said, I'm not identifying exactly where we're meeting up. If anybody knows the area we might be in and wants to join us, message me privately, but otherwise I'm not calling out exactly where we're going to meet because I don't always think that's a good idea. So Steve's saying he'll be one of the stately old homes of England. I don't know. Let's have. So Richard's saying, Joe, you were merely 15 when I was on a 6-week Australian trip in November and December 2000. Cairns, Alex, all these places, and Sydney there as well. Yeah, there we go. Richard's mum used to love Baileys. Steve was given a large bottle of Baileys by one of his customers. I hope he didn't expect you to clean the windows with the Baileys. I presume it was a gift because you did the windows, and perhaps it was Christmas as well. Maybe that was it. Oh, yes, for Christmas, that is. That's what he said. Look. So Richard's saying, oh, a free TV license. And he's saying that because I'm going to be 75 this year. And when you get to 75, you get a free TV license. But I bet you they do away with it later this year. They'll decide that they've been talking about doing away with free TV license for the over 75s, and I bet you this year they do away with it before I get to it. Never mind. Joe's saying I don't look a day over 70. Well, I've not got grey hairs, have I? I've got white ones and yellow ones and green ones, but no grey ones. Actually, I haven't got much in the way of grey hair. My sister went grey very early, but I've been very lucky that I haven't had. I do have a few greys, but not that many. Hold on, what do you get for free when you're 60? Well, you get free prescriptions, Steve. I get free prescriptions. What else? I get other free things, but I'm not quite sure whether that's because I'm 60 or because of other reasons. Anyway, Kath's saying that it looks like we're all on YouTube. Yes, I don't know what's happened to the Facebookers today. They don't seem to be joining us. Well, Facebook's not doing a great job of pushing us out in front of, in front of people. Facebook is getting very funny with its algorithms. I don't understand it all. Although I have been gathering a lot more people, but it's suddenly they push it out in certain directions and I get more people that I don't know. And then all of a sudden things like this, and nobody's coming in from Facebook, but never mind. We're on YouTube as well. It doesn't matter, does it? If you were in Australia, you'd be entitled to a national seniors card, Steve. There we go. So that's it. Steve's off to Australia, moving us to Australia right now. Who's going to clean the windows, Steve? He's going to take his ladders with him, Joe's got mini rice cakes and caramelized onion dip there. That sounds very nice. I've been having snacks because I am trying desperately hard. Wait a minute, let's take that comment off. I'm trying desperately hard to get to my 3.5 stone award, from Slimming World. I got to 1/2 pound of 3.5 stone in October. And then I went up a bit, and then I went down a bit, and up a bit, and I've been like on a seesaw or I've been like a yo-yo. And then the week before last, I put some on. I put a pound. I think I ended up 1.5 pounds away from 3.5 stone. And then last week, I lost 1 pound. I'm still half a pound away from 3.5 stone. But I don't know. I think this week I'm trying really hard to see if I can get that next half a pound off. Let's see. But do you know what? I'm not beating myself up. I've lost 3.5, almost 3.5 stone anyway. So that's, I'm pretty proud of that. And my daughter, she's lost 3 weeks in a row. She was slimmer of the week. And this week she lost £2. Last week she lost £2 and she was slimmer of the week. This week she lost £2, but she wasn't slimmer of the week in the 4th time in a row. I don't know. Somebody else must have lost a bit more than two pounds. So maybe they lost 2.5 or £3. And I said, well, it was only fair that somebody else has to win it sometimes. But when you're slimmer of the week, you get to take home the basket and what happens is everybody's supposed to come with something to go in the basket that's Slimming World friendly, either some free food that doesn't have sins in it, or different things that are helpful to weight loss. And Tasha's group is in that. Well, I've transferred to that group now. They are amazingly generous, and the basket's been so full. But we didn't get it this week. Does a hover bus actually hover? No, Steve. It's for the hovercraft. So the hover bus is an ordinary bus that goes from the train station round to the hover port. So it's about 10-minute ride from Portsmouth and Southsea. And when I book my ticket, I book a through ticket all the way through. Well, I don't know which is home now, because I'm spending more time at my daughter's than I am at my own home. But it doesn't matter. So when I go from Ryde, so where I live, I will book a ticket that's all the way through, that includes the hover terminal and the trains all the way to Wiltshire. And I usually do get on at Portsmouth and Southsea, and then I usually have 2 changes before I get off at my Wiltshire destination. And so so that's what I do. But we had the shenanigans, didn't we? And I think I said this because I live streamed on Sunday evening, but I think I've already told these shenanigans. But anybody who wasn't listening last week, when I was it wasn't. It was after Sunday, because I went home on Sunday. I went back to my daughter's on Wednesday. That's right. And for some reason, when I booked my ticket, and I booked it all as a through ticket, and I always tick the box that says you want an e-ticket, because an e-ticket comes to my phone. I don't have to faff about or do anything. I just have the e-ticket on my phone. When I look, fortunately I did look, because it hadn't come through as an e-ticket. It had given me a number to quote to go to a ticket machine to get the tickets out. So I'm sitting there on Tuesday evening, contemplating my journey for the next day. So I was just going to ring the taxi to get a taxi down from where I live down to the hoverport. And I suddenly thought, oh, I've not got e-tickets. I better check and see if there's a machine at the hoverport to get the tickets out of. And I didn't know. I thought, I've never seen a ticket machine there, but maybe it's there and I haven't noticed it because I've never had to do it before, because I've always had an e-ticket. So I tried to ring up hover terminal, because that would be the sensible thing to do, wouldn't it? Ring up and ask them if they got a machine. Well, you ring up and you get all these recorded messages. Well, that's not a lot of good if you want to ask somebody a question like, how do I get my tickets? And so that was a no-go. I couldn't get through anyway. I couldn't find any way of getting a message quickly and an answer. So I put it out on social media. Does anybody know if there's a ticket machine at the hover terminal? And nobody much came back. But Jan, who I do the craft club with when I'm on the island and help out with all the crafting, I usually so I message her. She's very connected to the people at the hover terminal. She does a lot around disability. She runs a charity called Isle Access, so it's a lot to do with people with disabilities, and she does a lot at the hover terminal. So I thought she'll know. So I messaged her and she said, no, there's no machine there. And so I thought, oh, this is stupid. This is stupid. You can have a through ticket, but you can't get your ticket because there's not a machine to get it out of. So the only thing I could think to do was to go, and I was chatting with Jan, and she said, I would give you a lift, but she was suffering with a bad back, and I didn't want her, even to think about giving me a lift if she wasn't well. So I said, no, you mustn't. She was going to stay home anyway because it was too bad to help me. And so I said, no, I wouldn't want you doing that. I'm happy to. So I then rang Ride Taxis. And I said, right, I've got to go on an 11:15 hover tomorrow, but I have complications. So I said, I'm not quite sure what time to book you to come and pick me up. It's like normally it's less than 10 minutes. If I was going straight from my house to the hover terminal, it's about 10 minutes or just a bit less, but say let's 10 minutes. But they've been digging up Ride, and they've been digging up Ride between where I live and where the hover terminal is. So lots and lots of roads dug up. So in order to do the roundabout, the all around and the in and out and the zigzag and all that all round ride, we decided, the taxi company and I, that I would need to allow half an hour for that. But of course, don't forget, I haven't got my tickets yet either. So I then have to factor in getting my tickets. So I said, we've got a further complication. I said, because I've got to get my tickets out of the machine at the train station. Right, the train station is here, and the big Ride interchange, the bus station and the train station is here. And then there's a walk along the Esplanade, and which could be a leisurely stroll on a nice summer's day, but we're not doing a leisurely stroll. We've got a Navy Nora, which is my trolley, loaded with 6 bags all tied on it, and me, and I don't walk very fast, and I've got to get from the train station along, and you can't. There is a footbridge that goes up and over the railway, because this is the railway here. So here's the road, here's the railway, and there's the sea is further over. So I've got to go into the train station, get the ticket out of the machine, come back to the taxi. Otherwise, I would, if I could have walked it and I was a sprinter, I could have run along the seafront. And then there is a bridge that goes up and over the railway to the hover terminal. But don't forget, I'm pushing Navy Nora and with 6 bags on the top. You can't get up and over the footbridge that way. You've got to go much further down and along, and then walk back half the distance you've just been to come back to the hover terminal. So I decided that I said to the people, the Ride Taxi people are very good, and that I'm a regular customer with Ride Taxis. So I said, look, what can we do? I said, can we factor in enough time for the taxi driver to take me to the train station, where I think he should just be able to park. His parking's a bit dodgy there, but I think he might be able to just wait at the side there, which he was able to do. I said, then I've got to go and get my tickets, but I've also got to allow for 2 or 3 people to be in a queue, because if we don't allow for that, then I won't get my, miss the hoverport. So we covered it all. There was no queue at the ticket machine. And this time it was quite easy, because when I did the last thing of getting tickets out of the machine, when this happened on the other side of the water, I couldn't put, the buttons wouldn't push. It was touch screen, because I got long acrylic nails. It's not always easy to push the tap. Anyway, I got my tickets and I got on the hover. In fact, I was 15 minutes early at the hover terminal, but I got there and I had a wonderful, wonderful taxi driver, and I put his picture up, and lots of people said, oh, he's lovely, yes, he's good, and he's got a wicked sense of humor, and he was really good. He helped me right up into the hover terminal building, and so that was fine. So I think there were so many shenanigans. If you want to see all the shenanigans, go back over my Facebook page, because I put them all there. I can't remember them all. This is a whole week of shenanigans, and so it's a bit difficult. But I'm trying to catch up. I've got to get the train tickets refunded. So on Friday night, I got here, and of course, my son was keen to feed me because I'd been travelling and I was late and I needed an evening meal. So he did that, and I said, "But I do need to get this travel repay." I said, "If you're willing to help me, then we'll get this travel thing in. If you can't do it, don't worry. It's not a vast fortune. This one, it's only a half refund." Anyway, we did it. It was fiddly, and he had a struggle. And then sometimes you put all the information in, and then it disappears, and then you have to put it in again, and all that shenanigans. And I think we finished the claim at about 2 or 3 minutes to midnight. So we will see if we get the refund on that. Now I've just got to do the other 3 or 4 that I've got. But it's trying to remember them, and it's remembering where all the tickets are, and then on the and then all the different train companies, and I always book. I book usually via TrainPal, which takes you all the cheapest routes. It finds all the little split tickets, and it does a really good deal. But when it comes to reclaim, it's a bit more fiddly. Steve said the hovercraft actually doesn't hover; it goes to the hovercraft. Richard's saying a reminder of those who know of Kezzy's kindness. Lovely Nikki was Kezzy's mum. Kezzy was a little girl who was sadly taken from us far too early, and then sadly her mum died on the 27th. That was the day that I was travelling back from the north, and they said no trains, and her funeral service at 12 on the 6th of February at Newport Minster. Newport Minster is massive. I bet you anything that is full on that day, because Nikki, in tribute to her daughter that she lost, she set up Kezzy's Kindness, and she did a huge amount of fundraising to make sure that children who didn't know, who perhaps weren't very smiley, gave them a reason to smile. They did a lot of fundraising around things and providing things for children whose lives otherwise were not very happy. She did an amazing amount. Then sadly, she lost her own life just after Christmas. But she was an amazing lady, and I think there was still a lot of fundraising going on in their memory. There we are. Richard's saying that. Cass saying whoop, but I can't remember because you put your comment on so long ago. I don't remember what the whoop was. Steve thought that he wouldn't see a bus hovering. There we go. Steve's getting his statins for free next summer. Excellent. Yes, and Kath saying that Labour are thinking of doing away with free prescriptions and free bus passes. Well, that will be. Then they will end up with lots more people with mental health issues health issues, because people won't buy the medicines. They won't do it because they won't be able to afford it. It's very silly thinking, because you're just moving the problem from here to over there. So if they don't have free prescriptions, lots of people won't buy their medicine, and they'll be ill, and then they'll be in hospital, and they'll be filling our hospitals up. So that won't work. And if you don't give them free bus passes, they won't go out, and they'll all be recluses, and they'll all have mental health problems. So it's not rocket science, is it, that it's not a good idea? Anyway, let's see. In Australia, the pensioners get their prescriptions for $7.70. I don't know. I don't know I don't know how that equates to English money. I'm not quite sure for that. Well done, you're getting there though. I am getting there, but the pensioners don't go up. The pensions don't go up that much, though, do they, Kath? It's outrageous. No, they don't, Steve. But I have got a small pension rise coming in April. Speaking of buses, says Joe, there are a handful of Australian-made electrical buses in the UK now. Oh, excellent. And here comes Hazel, and apparently it's Australia Day, so another one of our Australian viewers. Good morning, everyone, says Hazel. Weather forecast for today is 41°C, air conditioning on, and you're hibernating for the day. Well, I'm hibernating. 41°C. I'm hibernating. It's cold here. It's pretty cold. Let's have a look. Wowzers. Yes, Australia. Happy Australia Day. There we go. I'm way behind with the comments here, folks, because I wasn't moving them all up. You've all got the heating on over here in the UK, says Steve. We certainly have. Hazel's in Melbourne. I've got family in Melbourne as well. One of my nephews and his family are in Melbourne. Joe was in Melbourne last year. There we go. Packed in. Oops, he packed in. What did he say? 4 seasons in one day. Weather, but it did not eventuate. Okay. Right, 39 degrees where Joe is today in the central west of New South Wales. Sheesh, it'll be 42 by tomorrow or Wednesday. Exactly, Lynn says Steve, but of course I don't know what you're saying exactly to, because the conversation's moved on and I'm behind with the comments. And that was there. Probably what I was saying about moving the, the Labour are just moving the problem from one place to another. You push it down here and it will pop up over here. So there we go. Anyway, we seem to have caught up with all the comments. Excellent. So I'm going to show you a present I got. Enough of the shenanigans and all that. I don't think I finished all those stories, but then do I ever? Look, my son and daughter-in-law to be have given me this crocheted house plants. You do you, Lynn. We love you even if you miss our comments. So I can only do me. I can't do anything else. I forget where I'm going to, and all you lovely people give me reminders. Can somebody give me a time check, because I'm in an area with no clock again? So that would be. You love the mushrooms on the land. Yes, it's gorgeous, isn't it? It's absolutely lovely. And if you look over there, there's some sort of squid character on there. And then there's that knitted plants, excellent. And there's another little like octopus type character there on the back of the sofa here. And then we've got a gingerbread man around here. Look, I feel quite at home in here. Really quite at home. 9/11. Thanks, Debs. Tom Daly does knitting. He certainly does. He does a lot of knitting. I'd like to see more men knitting, because knitting is so therapeutic. And I need to actually, my knitting that I'm doing, I've got to be careful because there's a radiator behind me, so if I push the seat back I will knock into the little plug-in radiator that's keeping me warm. Hang on. So some of you will be seeing, with all these train journeys that I've been doing, I have been doing a lot of knitting, but this is crochet. So and this part of my family, they absolutely love their house plants, but some of them are dying. So I think they thought that if they gave me this, I would crochet the house plants, and crochet house plants don't die, do they? Well, they might. I'm not as good at crochet as I am at knitting. I've been knitting since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. I've only been a crocheter when I was 68, I think I learned to crochet. So anyway, let me show you. I have made lots of. So this is the end of a ball of wool. That was a big ball of wool. It was 100 grams of wool, and it was variegated colours. So it looks a bit sort of brownish, yellowish, sort of that colour. But I'll show you the hats that I made from that ball of wool. So that was one. You love your photography. You've been busy with photos of on a track show. Wait a minute. Hang on. Richard's just. Hang on. Richard's saying Nikki's funeral is 12 p.m. at Newport Minster, followed by an interment at Mount Joy Cemetery next to Kesey's plot. Thank you. On Wednesday, February the 6th. Thank you, Richard. So if anybody needs to know about that. Right, okay. So Joe's loving his photography. Right, so these, look, let me show you. So I think I got 18 hats out of one ball of wool, but you can see sometimes when you get a variegated ball of wool, there's a little bit of white and a little bit of red and a little bit of that. I thought that this would change colours more quickly, but actually it didn't. There were very long bits of the mustardy colour, and there were very long bits of the blue, and there were very long bits of the purpley colours, and so it didn't variegate much at all. My daughter has just. There's some messages coming in from my daughter, so she's probably updating with me with her smoothie hats, because she's not been a great knitter, but suddenly she's taken to it. We're making these little smoothie hats. They go on the smoothie bottles, the innocent smoothie drinks, and they sell them in the they're sold in the supermarkets, and for an extra, well, now after many years of campaigning where they were worth 25p each, they're now worth 30p each, and all those 30p's are going to Age UK. No, yes, Age UK. And those of us who do the work on the Isle of Wight, if we give it into our local office, that money will go to Age UK Isle of Wight and stay on the island for use on the island, as long as we knit 12,500 hats. Well, we're well on the way. So I know that a lot of hats have been made by other people that I don't know on the island, because I can see them putting them on the Isle of Wight Age UK group. I've challenged the Go Live Granny community to come out and knit some. Linda Pugh sent me a thing today. She's knitted loads. My daughter's knitting loads. Other members of the Go Live Granny community are knitting. I think my daughter and I have done nearly 100 between us. My daughter's a fairly novice knitter. But I'm so proud of her, because she's picking up her knitting like I do. If I'm going to sit down on the sofa for a few minutes, she's picking it up in those gaps, like I really, really use those gaps very well in the day. And she's really doing it. And I gave her there was wool in my room that I've been staying with her, and there's a big bag of wool in my room. But a lot of it I bought back from my house where I live, and it's got the variegated wool. So though the ones that are change colours a little bit only they have a little bit of one colour and a little bit of the other, they make amazing patterns. So it looks like you're really, really so spot on. And this is nothing to knock my daughter, because my daughter's really getting there, but it looks like it's a very complicated pattern. And isn't. It's just as you knit, it makes the pattern. This didn't come out quite like that, but I have got 18 hats here in all those colours that came out of that one wool. It wasn't the most exciting colours, but it was. Some people like those different colours. They don't all like these bright ones like I've got on my head. Anyway, Heather's saying my daughter and my granddaughter have been making some wonderful product. They have, and my daughter, when I'm there, if she makes a little mistake, don't forget she's a novice. So if she makes a mistake, she hands it to me and says, "Can you put it right?" Which I always do if I'm there. Of course, I'm not always there, but she's got one of her daughters is a good knitter. And she will correct the mistake. If I'm not there, she will do it. Well, what my daughter does sometimes is, so we knit a lot in stocking stitch or in garter stitch. Garter stitch is just all plain knitting, just ordinary knitting stitches. Stocking stitch is one row knit and one row purl. So if I showed you this, that's made of stocking stitch, and it's got quite a smooth look. If I showed you the other side of it, that's the inside, that's what garter stitch looks like. Sometimes you can make varied patterns, and this one I have done the ridges are garter stitch and the other bit is stocking stitch. Well, I think I got a bit too cocky myself. My daughter, sometimes what she'll do, she'll be knitting, so maybe she's knitting and she'll put the knitting down before she's finished a row. So maybe she's doing stocking stitch and she'll be on a knit row, on a knit row, and she'll put the knitting down and sometimes she'll pick it up and she might twist it, and then instead of knitting on to the end of the row, and we've all done this, so this is not anything against her, it's actually going to end up a thing against me for being so cocky. So sometimes instead of knitting to the end of the row, she picks the needles up and knits the other way, and maybe so she might purl going back there. Whatever she does, I usually can spot what she's done. Anyway, we tease each other about any of those sort of things. I don't tease her too much because it's not right, but she showed me one today, and so I started making this one so I could show her how the ridges went. And I think I was a bit too cocky because I ended up there is a mistake just here. No, it's not a mistake. Well, it's a bit, I don't know if you probably can't see, but this little bit is a bit bulgy. Well, what happened, I was knitting at church this morning. I went with my son to church, and then I wasn't knitting through the service, but at the beginning, and then while I was waiting for him, I was knitting again. And, this was to try and show my daughter what the things looked like. When I looked, I'd done something really weird, and I'd got a loop coming right down to that bit there. And I thought, well, I'm not going to undo it all. I normally can drop a stitch down. If I've done it wrong, I can drop a stitch down without undoing all the rows. Just drop it down to where the mistake is and then hook it up. And it's quite good to use a crochet hook. It's easier to use a crochet hook to hook them up. So sometimes you have to hook them one way and sometimes you have to hook them another way to get the pattern right. Well, if I'm just doing plain stocking stitch, it's dead easy to hook them up because they're all the same all the way up. If I'm doing all garter stitch, it would be easy to hook them because they're all the same. When you're doing garter stitch and garter stitch on one side and alternating it with stocking stitch, it is not so easy. And I came across, I wasn't at home. Or did I? No, I did do it when I came home because it wasn't going right. I just put it in my bag, and so I might just as well have undone it all. It would have been quicker to go back than it was because I started doing it with the hook, drop it down and pick it up again, and I kept getting it wrong. I can do it when it's all plain or all pearl. I obviously didn't do it. I just had a good old giggle at myself because, pride goes before a fall and I should have just done it. But it is okay now. And you really can't see when that's what's happened. It's stretched the stitches a little bit. It's okay. The stitches are right, but it's stretched a little bit. But if I don't like it, I can stick a bow on it. Because these are little hats to go on smoothie bottles. This is not somebody's wedding dress where it really matters. As my gran would have said, it will do a blind man good to see it. So there we go. So that was what I did today. I don't know if I was telling you about the point. It fell apart. No, it didn't all fall apart, but it might just as well have done. There we go. Wait a minute. What's this that you did? I missed some comments. Hang on. All right. Okay. Richard's corrected. Nikki's funeral Thursday, February the 6th at 12 p.m. Newport Minster. Request from her widower Patrick. Dark clothes and flowers will be appreciated very much, as Nikki deserves. So excellent. Okay. So let's hope that goes really well. Story time. Says Joe, when he went to Melbourne in June, he got to meet a friend of his who drives for the coach company you travelled with. He drives a 2024 Scania K410CB with a coach concepts body. Right, okay. There we go. I don't know if there's any more story coming for that or whether that was a short story. It was not quite 3 months old when you travelled on it. Oh, wait a minute. Is this still part of the story? Right, I think it is. Joe's not enjoying the heat. He's going to admit he's so over summer. Can winter hurry up and get here already? Well, we want summer and you want winter. Kath saying she supposes it does get a bit hot in Australia, but Kath is missing the sun shining here. It was shining on when I was coming back, when I was coming up here, and of course they had threatened the bad weather and the storms and all that. So I was absolutely delighted that the weather wasn't nearly as bad as it had forecast. If it had been that bad, I would not have travelled. But when I went, Kath was helping me check the weather, and it didn't look too bad in the bit of the country where I was going. Higher up, it was really bad, but not not up as far as Birmingham. Lower down from Birmingham, it was fine. And then, of course, I was going east across the country. So that was okay. But the sun did come out. The sun did shine. And it was so lovely to see the sun shining. Steve has actually tried to knit himself a small teddy bear when he was a child. I didn't own one and it didn't turn out exactly perfect. Well, Steve, if you want a teddy bear, just let me know and I will make you one. I mean, has it ruined your life that you didn't have? It can be quite quite devastating, these things. If you didn't have a teddy bear as a child, I mean, you know, do you want one now? Let me know. It will only be a small one because I haven't got time to knit a big one. But let's see. So Joe will be here. Hang on. Joe will be here until just a bit before 9 a.m. Well, I don't know where we are on time-wise now. I know it's probably something like 9:30 here in the UK now. You've got another live on here you need to catch up with. That's fine, Joe. Thanks for popping in. Lovely to have you here and your contributions. Steve thinks it's a bit stormy tomorrow. You're having the day off yet again as you can't put your ladder up. No, but you could get your knitting out, Steve, and you could knit some smoothie hats to join in the campaign. How about that? Kat says we have had some sunshine, but she would like more. Steve says, really, Lynn, that would be fab. Do you mean it would be fab to have a teddy bear? I'm not quite sure what you're answering now because I keep forgetting. And of course, I'm not seeing all the comments until I scroll them up. So I don't know which is going. So if it's a teddy bear, then let me know. So Steve's saying, yes, please. I think that's probably what he means. Richard's saying oh no, Richard, this is so funny. So funny. Richard's saying he misses my story times and my butterfly was. So when COVID hit and I couldn't live stream all things about the island and all the beauty of the island because the carnivals weren't happening, I live streamed from my home and I found all sorts of things to do, including telling stories and reading from a book called Butterfly Whispers and my alien song. I'll start on the alien song in a minute. Actually, let's do that. 5 little men in a flying saucer flew round the earth one day. They looked left and right, but they didn't like the sight, so one man flew away. And I would sing this and everybody would get, well, I don't know, fed up. They all enjoyed the banter, I think, but, you know, it got in everybody's head that song. So it then would go, four little men in the flying saucer. And I actually made a flying saucer and I made some aliens to go in a flying saucer for a project for somebody as well. So anyway, Butterfly Whispers, Richard's mentioned Butterfly. I suddenly thought about Butterfly Whispers. I think I was watching one of my old live streams because I've been revisiting all my memories on my Facebook page, and you might have noticed that I've been putting up some of my old live streams because back in the day I used to just live stream on Facebook, and now I'm doing Facebook and YouTube at the same time via StreamYard. But I have no record of a lot of the ones from Facebook. They're just there on Facebook, but I don't know where, you know, I don't have them recorded. I need to try and download them from Facebook and upload them to YouTube as well. But I did so many. You know, I was looking at the memories today, and 12 years ago, I was just doing a video. And then I progressed, of course, not many years later, I progressed to live stream. So I've been live streaming so much for so long. And so I've been watching some of these to find out. It was a bit like a diary. So I was listening to my own stories to find out what was happening, how many years ago. I'm hot. So excuse me, I'm going to take off my mad wig because I'm too hot, just too hot. Perhaps I ought to take off my scarf because now the heater is behind me and it's heated up the room. So it's making me far too hot. So let's go there. So Richard, I was trying to think, I don't know where my Butterfly Whispers book is. I need to look for it. It's probably on a bookshelf with other books. But because I haven't looked for it, and I haven't used it recently, I don't know where it is. So Butterfly Whispers was a lovely book that my hairdresser gave me. And it was she does a network marketing business that's Mary Kay. Mary Kay is the name of the business, and the person who founded Mary Kay, no, it wasn't her, but it was somebody else to do with Mary Kay, I think, who wrote Butterfly Whispers. And basically, she was training her team of salespeople, and it was like network marketing, and she would put out something every day, and all this collection of things that she would put out. I think originally they were on a recording on an answer, you know, people could ring in and listen to the message. She put them into a book called Butterfly Whispers, and this is a beautiful book, and it was just a short piece of, you know, motivational reading. It was all sorts of different things, wasn't it, Richard? And I used to read it throughout COVID. I would read the next day of Butterfly. There was a page for every day of the year, and it's funny that you should see that, Richard, at the same time as I just saw it the other day. So the time check came in at 19:29 Sunday time, but to be honest, now it's probably quite a bit later than that, because that was a few minutes ago. Steve said yes to the teddy bear. Okay, I'll see what I can do. So Joe said they should be in your page's videos section. I'll check it out and let you know via message. Thanks, Joe. Yes, they were. That's how I found them, but I'm only finding them. Oh, I suppose, yes, I suppose if you click on the bit that says video, I've been going onto the page where it says, here's your memories, here's your all the different bits of your page, and I was clicking on the memories, and they were coming up in the memory section. But yes, I think I know what you mean, Joe. Yes, notice, Lynn, appreciated as Facebook hires stuff. Hires stuff? Sorry? I'm not quite sure what you mean there, Richard. I'm probably misreading that myself. It's probably me. I don't know what you mean. Let me know. Yes, notice. Oh, right. Oh, hides. It probably put Facebook hides stuff. I would think that's probably what it's meant to think. Yes, Steve said, I've got hair. Yes, I've got hair. I'm also going to a wedding, family wedding we've got coming up very soon, very exciting. And I'm going to have a very smart outfit. I don't know what yet. I'm going next week to get the outfit. And I'm going to get a hat fascinator. So that's a hairband with like a big hat thing on it. If I wore a hat, it would squish my hair down, and you know, have issues keeping hats on. For what it's worth, my head is not big. I've been called a big head many times, but actually, whenever I bought hats in the past, they would come right down on me, because I think the actual size of my head is not as big as some people's heads, although some people have called me a big head. So anyway, now that the fascinators are more the thing, so that's a headband with something on it, I want one of those, but I don't want a little thing here. I want a statement piece, you know, a real, and you will see the pictures when, you know, probably after the wedding, not before the wedding, because I'll you know, keep it a bit secret until after that. But I decided that I'm actually going to have a bit of colour, highlights in my hair, because I thought, actually, I think I'm going to have a little bit of highlights. So there we go. Richard saying, have you written your life story yet? No. And again, Richard, that is another thing. I don't remember how, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. We were having my son had organised a conference, and he'd organised it up country, sort of the Midlands type area, and he'd asked me to be a speaker, and he said about writing about I never planned to write a book. I didn't think that was my, you know, that wasn't my style. And somebody said, oh, you should write your book, Lynn. And I thought, why? And who's going to read my book? And this was when I was with Osborne Books. Somebody had said to me, oh, Lynn, you're so funny, you should write a book. And I'd never thought of it. And then I thought, well, I wonder who would be interested in reading that. But it seems that people might be. It might, if it gives you a laugh, I don't mind, even if it's at my expense. So I started to write this book, and then I was supposed to have it finished for this conference. And I was watching my videos back that I had broadcast, you know, that I had shared with you, the ones from the live streams from years ago. So in your memories, it will say 5 years ago on this date, you did this. So you did this live stream, and 6 years ago on this date, you did this live stream. And it was so interesting going back and thinking, oh, is that when that happened? You know, so, and in one of those, this week, around this time was the anniversary of this conference that my son ran, and I was supposed to have been finishing my book and getting it into. He was going to get it printed in pamphlet form for the conference. Long story short, it didn't quite happen. It was almost there, but it didn't quite happen. I can't remember all the details. It doesn't matter. But I was thinking the other day, maybe I should sit down and do it. I don't know. So no, I haven't written my life story. My life has been quite long, 75 years. That would be a lot to put in one book. Maybe I'll split it into sections, and maybe I'll do some of it. A lot of it, of course, is documented on my live streams. But, actually, the life story, not so much, it's various incidents, isn't it? So Kath is saying she still can't believe I managed to live stream every single night during COVID. We had some laughs. We so did. But so Steve, he wants to know where he can find my story times. Some of them might be on YouTube. Look at my YouTube channel. I'm going to try and see if I can find them. I'm going to talk to Tristan because I'm with Tristan now, and he's the one who taught me to do all this. We might be able to find a lot of them and put them. Well, I'm going to, he's doing me my website, and if we can, we'll get them and we'll put them on there. But that's not going to happen in a blink of an eye because we're such busy people that it's not going to happen very quickly. But we'll work on it. Let's see what we can do. We'll try. But otherwise, Steve, keep an eye on my Facebook page because I am starting to share those, when they come up in the memories from, say, whatever. It's the 26th today, isn't it? I think I've shared one or two things that happened today. Some days there were lots more stuff, and some days I live streamed more than once a day, didn't I, Kath? Can you remember that? But back in COVID, when I couldn't live stream the carnivals and things, I was live streaming from home, and just about anything and everything we could talk about. I read stories, I read Butterfly Whispers, I talked about my garden, I live streamed from the garden. I live streamed. We did jokes. We had all sorts of jokes. I asked you to send me jokes, didn't I? I did so many different things just to keep everybody entertained. But not just you. It was helping me. We all needed that help with our mental health, And if we could support each other in those those difficult times, it was so worth it. Excuse me a minute. And it's where Kath and I first met. Kath and I know each other very well, and Kath's husband, and they've been regular visitors to my place on the Isle of Wight. Sadly, I say they've moved off the island, but I'm not there much anyway now. But we're going to meet tomorrow because we're both in the same part of the world at the moment. And Debs I'm meeting up with as well. I'm looking forward to that. Debs and Kath have not met other than here in the Go Live Granny community. So that's going to be interesting for them to meet each other tomorrow. That's going to be such fun. So we get some pictures, whether we live stream or do a video or what, I don't know. It depends on them. But I'm sure we can certainly get some pictures as well. So we've established finally where we're going to meet. I've been all day trying to work out to coordinate the meeting we're having tomorrow, and it was places where would they know, could they get there, but there was complications going on at my end as well because I don't have a car, and Tristan and his fiance had various things to fit in, and it was all very tricky, but eventually we managed to work out a place where we're going to meet at a time. So let's hope that works out too. So excuse me, Kath is saying that my story times are in my past live streams, and so they'll be random. Some of them will have story time. Some of them will have very different things in. I can't even remember myself what I talked about half the time. So Steve's saying he read The Mouse and His Child at Christmas. Stick of the Dump before that. I'm reveling in nostalgia. I know, it's wonderful, isn't it? Right, so was it Peter Kay, Lorna? He does very funny misheard lyrics, song lyrics. Right, okay, I don't know. So I don't know, let's catch up. Joe loves that guy. Who's that? Peter Kay, yes. Wasn't it Staple the Vicar? Something about Staple the Vicar. Oh dear. Lyrics, Stable the Vicar. Oh, Staple the Vicar. Well, Steve saying fascinators are beautiful. The 1950s women fashions were lovely, especially with gloves, accessories. Well, you never know. I might have an outfit with gloves as well. When my daughter got married, I didn't buy my outfit till the week of the wedding because I was actually still losing weight, quite a lot of weight, and it was a bit nightmarish because I live on an island that doesn't have a lot of clothes, nice dress shops and that sort of thing. And I thought I was going to have to go to the mainland, and I'd only got a week to do it, and I didn't know the shops over the other side, and where was all that going to happen? And I don't like doing online shopping for clothes, not that sort of clothes. You've got to be able to put it on and see if it works or not. And so it was a nightmare. But in the end, my daughter was having her hair done on the island because she was getting married from the island, although she didn't live on the island. And she went and had her hair done, and I went in a shop just along from the hairdressers that I didn't think would do the thing. I saw a dress and I saw a jacket, and I didn't see them. I didn't put them together. They were the same colour, but I didn't see them as an outfit. They were separate items. I thought, no, I like that jacket. It's very pretty. It's got sequins all over it. It was pinky and sparkly and sequins. And I thought, I like that, but didn't do anything. I didn't rate it. And then I went out of the shop and met my daughter. And then for a bit later on, I went back in the shop, and the assistant pushed me in the changing room. Not rudely. She said, "You go in the changing room," and she did that personal shopping bit. And she came in with outfits, and she came in with the dress I'd looked at that I thought was no good. She came in with the pink sparkly top, and those were what I bought. But because she came in with the right things together, and then I bought everything in that shop except my underwear. Too much information. So I bought the dress, I bought the jacket, I bought the necklace, I bought the gloves, which I dyed. Did I buy a handbag in there? I think I probably bought a handbag and shoes, and I dyed the shoes. And it was amazing. But the only thing I couldn't buy was the hat or a fascinator. But the lady in the shop took, I've told this story before, sorry if I'm repeating myself, but she took the fabric off. It had big shoulder pads, and she took the shoulder pad, she got the shoulder pad, and she said, look, she said, it's covered in the same fabric as the dress. So she said, I can make a fascinator using the fabric off the shoulder pad. And that's exactly what she did. She made me a fascinator that matched the dress because it was the same fabric, but she'd done it. It was just amazing. But it was quite a small fascinator. It was nice for the time, but I want a statement this time. I am quite a significant person in this wedding. I'm not as important as the bride and groom, obviously, but I am, coming a close second. And so it will, it's going to be exciting. That's it. So, right. So Richard's saying Facebook hides stuff. It certainly does. Steve says, and all the men, even the younger men, all used to wear suits years ago. Oh, Richard's saying that was 5 years ago. What I was trying to quote just now, I've forgotten what it was. I forget what I said. I know I said I can't remember when it was. I can't remember what it was now. Never mind. Heather says she would love to read a book of mine. Well, maybe I will see what I can do. If I could talk it, I'm not good at writing things down. So maybe if I could talk it, could dictate and do bits and plan it out. I need to have a good plan and do it, and then it might get done. Joe's saying, thanks for the laughs, everyone. Time for him to head off. He was going to stay until 9 my time, but I'm going to get some videos in. Bless you. Bye. Have a lovely day. Enjoy yourself. Right, so okay, that's fine. So that was oh dear. Oh, Steve says, me too, Heather. I think he means he would like to read my book. Night, Joe. Have a lovely week. Yes, Richard did mean staple, or autocorrect had changed it to stable, we're not doing the nativity scene here now. Debs is saying jute hessian makes great fascinators. Yes, I think there was something very much like that in part of my fascinator before. Paint with wood glue or PVA, shape over and upside down weighing scale, pan, that egg shape protected by the baseline. Put in an oven 100 degrees, see 10 minutes, cool, cover decorate. Well, Debs, we can talk. You can give me lessons. You can talk me through it tomorrow when we're meeting up for coffee. That will be lovely. Let's see, because maybe I will make one. Maybe I'll make my own fascinator. I'll tell you what, I've been doing some crafting today, and I'll tell you about it. So Steve says he would love to have been a part of that. You've only just met me. Yeah. So back in COVID, yeah, and we supported each other. It was a great community coming together and keeping everybody upbeat. You know, the world was changing. It was a horrible place for lots of people, and mental health's gone, you know, people's mental health has plummeted big time since then. If we could do anything that makes people laugh, which is why I will go around with silly things on my head or doing, you know, making jokes and whatever, because if it makes somebody laugh, what's wrong with that? Oh, Richard's saying pointing gnomes. Of course, Richard. I forgot that too. When I was thinking of things to do in those live streams, I converted my plain grass, which was just a patch of plain grass. I converted it to a container garden, and then we one Ride in Bloom. I did have one or two of the community members come in and help me do things in the garden. Some of you sent things to plant in the garden, so it was real sense of community in this garden that I created from a patch of grass. And then again, I mean, it was lovely. Lots of people contributed to it in different ways. And one Ride in Bloom 2 years in a row, and that was brilliant. And people complimented it. It was one of those gardens that opened to the pavement, so there is no wall between me and the pavement. You know, people walk right next to my flowers, and they loved it. And I live on an estate, and everybody had to walk past to go to their houses because I live at the front of the estate, and they all went past and then they all come back the other way. So I was seeing a lot of people I never didn't know half the people on my estate till that happened. And I'd never thought to sit in my garden by the side of the road. The world changed and everything was different. I would sit out there and do my knitting and all sorts, and it was just lovely. But one of the things I did that Richard's just reminded me, I painted gnomes, but not only did I paint them, I made them. I made them out of concrete. Or cement or whatever it was, I don't know what you call it. I had a mould and I made some mouldy gnomes. No, I made some gnomes in my mould, and then I painted them. And then I hid them in the garden for the children on the estate to see if they could find them. And I had some moulds for some butterflies and bees and things like that, and I dotted them all around the garden just to make it fun for the children going by. Steve was saying he couldn't see Alfie for months as he was in a different yes, we were in different bubbles, weren't we? So you couldn't see each other. You survived on video chat. Thank goodness for the internet. Yes, it was a blessing, very much a blessing, because I know that people like Kath, she said that she was glad she found me because it was really good. Well, I'm glad that other people found me because it was good for me as well. It's a two-way thing, isn't it? It's not just a one-way thing. It's not about me giving and then we're taking. It's we give and take from each other, and it was amazing. What happened in that community and all, I would it will be nice to see that all again on a fast rewind. I don't mean have the lockdown and the COVID again. I mean the community spirit, seeing all the community spirit. But my garden now, I'm just thinking, Kath and John have been very helpful and helped me tidy it up a lot before they moved off the island. But I can't do all that gardening now like I used to because, of course, I'm older and I was very ill, so I stopped doing it. And these high winds have taken some of the stuff out of the garden. there's a patch of grass over the other side, and one of my little greenhouses blew over there, and I couldn't get it back. And I was trying to get one. I was only home very briefly, and you know, trying to drag a greenhouse with not a glass greenhouse. It was one of those plastic greenhouse type things, and it had a few pots in it, and trying to drag all that back from over on the grass over the other side, it landed against a fence. Okay, and it's not in anybody's way because nobody much goes on that bit there over there. I should try and clear it up, but I wanted help. Wasn't home long enough. I did try and see if I could get a neighbour, but I couldn't get hold of the neighbour to help me to do it. So it's still over there. And of course, if I'd put it back this week, the storm we've just had probably would have taken it away again. So what I'm actually thinking of doing now is just getting all the front cleared. And then I've got to think what I want there is whether I have one or two very, very heavy pots that won't blow away in the wind. Because I think it would be nice to have some flowers. But I can't afford to have it concreted or anything like that. You know, I don't have that. I'm not quite sure how much it would be. Maybe I should get a quote and see. But it really needs, you know, smoothing over and nice. I'm not going to put it back to grass because I can't look after the grass either. So anyway, one bit could be a place for parking a car because there's a lack of parking space. And although I don't have a car, I have visitors who have cars. But you know what? I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to get a quote from Ace Waste, who do take rubbish away, and see whether they clear a lot of the stuff that I don't want, because he would do that for me for a very reasonable price. I know. So I shall see what happens when I get back. I have to go back and stay there for a little while first. Steve's saying that Alfie spent that first Christmas totally on his own, but we propped our computers on our tables and eat our Christmas dinner. Oh, dinner's together via video link. We even watched the Queen's speech together. I love it, Steve. I love it. Do you know what? It reminds me of what my friend did. It wasn't in COVID, but for a long time my finances were not very good at all, you know. I mean, they're still not brilliant, but they weren't good. And I was poor old pensioner, so I cut out having a TV license because I wasn't watching much on TV. So I thought, right, that's something, that £150 could be better used elsewhere. So I didn't have a TV. My only regret was that I couldn't watch Strictly Come Dancing because that would be my favourite. Let's take off that painting gnomes. Let's take that off. There we go. That was my favourite, Strictly. So my friend Yvonne, I don't think she's in the broadcast, she said video call me when it's time for Strictly. So I video called her, and she flipped her camera around and let me look at the TV through her camera. The quality wasn't very good at all, but you know, it was just a bit of fun. But now I do pay for a license again now because things have improved, and I'm enjoying loads and loads and loads of programs on the TV. So I'm really glad that I was able to now afford a TV license. But if I get to 75 and they give it for me free because they haven't done away with it, I won't say no, thank you. Kath has said, thank goodness we had technology during COVID. Absolutely. So that was good. Steve was saying it was a lifesaver. Oh, right, yes, Richard's reminded me the 5 years, when he said 5 years, because I'll say something and then I'm doing all this and you comment and then I forget what I've said and I forget what the answer is. So Richard's saying it was 5 years ago since I was writing my book for the conference. Right, so it is time I perhaps did a bit more on it. Hello, Abby. Abby coming in there on Facebook. Nice to see you, Abby. So Kath saying it's looking like the weather's going to be okay for us tomorrow. I hope so, Kath, because I would be awful if we had to call it off because the weather was bad. So let's hope it's going to be nice. So that would be good. We're all... You are, Steve. You're all chatting far too fast. But I've got something else to tell you and show you. And I now I'm wanting something for my crafting. And I'm going to have to see whether there's a way that we can work out how we can do this. Because so let me show you. So as you know, there's a wedding coming up in my family. And because I'm a crafter, I have been asked to make something for the wedding, for the tables for the wedding. But before I go on to that, I'm actually sitting at, as I say, at my one of my future daughter-in-laws. It's not the one who's getting married now, and I saw something on the table. And I thought, oh, that's pretty. And then I realised it was something I'd made to give her for her birthday. I'm glad I think it's pretty. So that was the card that I made her for her birthday. Let's put that under there. And this was the box, so it matches the card. So look, and it's a little gift box. Look, so you can put a gift in. Oh, sorry, there's a bit of paper rubbish in there. So, you know, I made that for her. I love making gift boxes, as you know, and I do it on a So Jean's saying TV licenses are not free when you get to 75. Have they done away with them already, Jean? Because they were talking of doing away with it, but they hadn't said they had done away with it yet. I thought they were only talking about it. Thank you, Steve. Steve's saying the card, and that is pretty. So those are the sorts of things I love doing. And I have dies and a die cutter to cut all those bits out. And you know, a kit for these sort of, that you can buy a kit with all the right dies for making this sort of thing, and then you cut them all out with a machine. And some of these sets, some of them are cheaper, but some of them are about £30. Okay, so let's just park that for a minute. I will buy something if I think I'm going to use it again and again and again, and something like that will be used again and again and again and again. And because I'm doing stuff for charity, I will use it obviously for making stuff for the charities as well. And I love decorating them all up, but it's very, very time consuming. And members of my family had asked me if I ever would like a different, I don't think they were buying it for me, but they were just asking, it was if I would like a cricket machine. Cricket, C-R-I-C-U-T. So I don't know if you pronounce it cricket or cricut or however it is. I don't know. And it is a machine. So with this, I would actually have metal pieces that actually have all those shapes, like a die. I haven't got anything here to say. So all these shapes, you'd have a metal bit to cut it, and you'd put it on a plate with the card and roll it through a machine, either by hand or an electric machine, and it would cut all the pieces of card out. But you have to lay it all on individually and do that. A cricket machine does it so quickly, but I you know, family said, did I think I ever wanted one? As I say, I don't think they were thinking of buying it. They were just interested to see. Oh, Jean's saying she pays for her TV license. Oh no, sounds like they've already done away with a 75 TV license. Okay, I'll have to double check that. Thank you, Jean, for telling me that. So anyway, I had said, no, I don't want a cricket machine. No, I don't think I need any more machines. I'm happy doing this and all that sort of thing. Well, for this wedding coming up, I was asked to make some little post boxes. It's something to go on the table, and it's for people to put messages in. And I not necessarily a post box that looks like a British, you know, red post box like that. A box that could take little messages. Oh, Steve's saying his mum has to pay and she's 84. My goodness, I didn't realise they'd done away with it. Oh, well, then I won't be looking forward to free TV licence. What a good job I can actually afford it at the moment. So Richard's just saying jute history in Dundee, fascinating jute meals, because Deb's mentioned jute, processed jute, which was grown and imported from India, and Foreman had learned to speak Hindi and the Society of Scots Hindi Speakers. Interesting. That's a little bit of back information there. Thank you, Richard, for filling us in on that. So always good to have a little bit of history popped in. I was never any good at history, but never mind, we get it here now. So thank you, Richard. So today I asked my hostess, would she show me how the cricket machine worked? Wow, oh my goodness, guess what? I now want a cricket machine. because basically we've made these little, today we made these little post boxes, right? Okay. Now I could make these by measuring the card, cutting it out, scoring it, folding it, and doing all that. I could do that without, I mean, just with a piece of card and a scoreboard and just a pencil and ruler and scissors. I could do that. It would take me quite a long time to measure up and do all of that. I could do it with a die cutter through a die machine like that, like I did for those, or as my hostess did. We found one online that we liked the look of. I mean, we weren't sure because we couldn't get hold of the person who asked us at that point. So we thought, well, let's do our prototype and see what she thinks. And she has approved them since. So we just she just looked up something. My hostess here, she just looked up something, and it was like this, and it's got it's got things to put messages in there. We can decorate this however we like. We can make it really fancy and all sorts of things, any colours we like or whatever, whatever quality of card we like, thin or thick or what. And it cut this out in a matter of minutes. And I just can't believe it. They were so quick. And then I just got some double-sided tape that was here in the craft room, and I just put them together in a matter of minutes. Now I can see that this will negate, if I had one of those machines, it would negate the need for lots and lots of dies. So it would make my craft room much tidier because I wouldn't need all those dies, because you would only need a digital file. Hello, Ailey, nice to see you coming in the broadcast. So you would have the digital files. The Cricut, it was being explained to me that you could have a membership with Cricut that's like £7.50 a month, which is peanuts to get all the access to all these PDF, these files that you need for doing the cutting. I was gobsmacked. I was trying to tell myself I didn't want one of these machines. No. But what it will do is it means that you don't have to have half the craft stuff out. Now, the full price of this machine is about £399 new. I wouldn't want to buy a second-hand one because I know what would happen. I would get it and then it will break down straight away. So, right, okay. Thanks, Kath. Thanks. There are some people who can get the TV license. Sorry. So if you're on pension credit, you can get a free TV license if you're over 75. That clears that up. So some people would and some people wouldn't. Got it. Thank you, Kath. Bad weather in Scotland, says Ailey. Internet's not very good. Okay. And Richard saying thanks to Kath for that piece of information about the TV licenses. We cover everything in our broadcast here, don't we? We have some wonderful people on the research team. And all these things. I'm just waiting for the waiter to come in now with my cup of coffee or something. It hasn't happened. It might happen. You never know. Sometimes, earlier on when we were working with the Cricut machine, suddenly my son appeared with a plate of lovely snacks that was Slimming World friendly for me. So there we go. Anyway, so I'm now doing the maths about the machine, because the machine, its real price is £399. Recommended price. That's where it is at a lot of places. We found it at John Lewis's for £299 and free delivery. I looked up top cashback thinking, they'll probably give a good cashback, and they don't. They only give 1%, so that's not very good. There would be a teensy bit of cashback, but that wouldn't be so good. So I'm going to put it on my wish list. And because I can see that this will speed up all the stuff I make for all the charities and all the other things I do. It negates a lot of all the stuff you have to do that doesn't actually make the money. The more you can, and I'm not talking about making money for me. I'm talking about making money for charities and all the things. I make a lot of cards and sell them to people who've said, oh, can you make this card? This my friend's going to be 60. She likes pink, she likes shiny, she likes flowers, and then I get the brief, and then I'll make it, and then they will pay a contribution for this card, and that money goes in. At the moment, that a lot of that money's gone into the Isle Access charity. I spent hours cutting some of those things out, and actually with a machine like this, it's done in, and once you've got the file, it is so quick. You've got the file to use again and again. I think I think that's how I understand it. And the thing is, when I put those dies through my die cutter, sometimes they slip. You have to lay them all on, and then you wind the thing with sheet, and they slip. And then they might slip, and you might have to do it again, and you might have wasted your card, and all that doesn't happen with this machine. It goes through, and the card sticks on the mat, and it just does it. So these literally were so quick and easy to make, and so I did the maths, and I thought, well, some of the kits that I've bought for some of those fancy things I've done have been £30. I will only buy that, and I'm getting discount on some of those. So I always look for where I can get discount, and I'll buy them on discount, and I'll buy them when there's with top from a company that's got top cashback as well. So I'm getting the best possible bargain. So some of them are £30, and I've looked at them and think, well, I'll buy that because I know something like this I will buy because I will make lots of them. For lots of different charities and all the sorts of things. There will be I will churn this out a lot. So that's why I will buy. If I see something I like, but I'm only ever going to make one of it, there's no way I would buy the dice, because that's not, it doesn't work. It doesn't make, it doesn't make good sense. So I thought, right, okay, if they're £30. And the machine is 300. So we found it at 300, as cheapest we can get, or where we can find it. That, do the maths. So 10 dies would be the same cost as a machine. And I'm always finding nice things that I like. So if I then don't buy any more dies, then can you see what I'm saying? That the machine will come into its own. But I think I need to put it on my wish list, and let's see where we go from there. Strange things happen sometimes in the Go Live Granny community. People have been very generous. People have helped towards the cost of things. Maybe that's something we can do. I know when I put out for, I put out for a calendar. Could people help me? There was a calendar that I wanted to remember to make all the chocolate orange covers, not this one, the chocolate orange covers on a calendar, and a different one each day. And because I can't keep buying all these things, I put it out, and I said, oh well, if anybody would like to sponsor January, and I split the cost up. But actually one of my viewers bought the calendar itself, but we're talking there, that was like £18. I'm now talking about a big machine. So if anybody feels that together we could all contribute to one, then I wouldn't be averse to anything like that. We've done those things in the past, but it's not, because it's for, I can see a huge benefit to the charities that we do through the Go Live Granny community. Then that's why I'm putting it out there. But I will park it there, and we will see what happens at some stage. Right, BBC are robbing people, absolutely. And the thing is, some of the BBC stuff, a lot of the BBC stuff is good, but lots of people are not, watching a lot of TV. They're watching all sorts of other things now, aren't they? Ailey's had a second plate of haggis tonight. Oh yes, it was Burns night, wasn't it, last night? So she's had a second plate of haggis tonight. Delicious haggis is a Scottish dish we have to celebrate. We have to celebrate Robbie Burns. Yes, you do. That's right. I should have had a tam o' shanter on tonight, shouldn't I? But my tam o' shanter's back home in my dressing up box. So, and I'm not at home. I'm far from home. So, I'm just wondering what else I've got. I can't remember if I've got anything else to tell you, but shenanigans, and this crafting. I mean, this was just amazeballs. This was just something we did this afternoon. We've got some magnets here, and I'm going to stick the magnet. We didn't have the right glue, but the magnet's going to go on here, and then the lid. That one will go inside the lid, and one will go on there, and that will go down there. We'll have some sort of fancy sign on the sort of the front of the box. It might have the bride and groom's name on it. It might have, oh, this is Happy Mail or whatever. I don't know. I've got to find out. The bride has seen it. We did manage to get hold of her, and she did approve it briefly this evening, just before I came on the blog. But this opens up a whole new world of things that can be done. And I was looking at just one or two of the things that my hostess was showing me, and it was just amazing. So we will see. I'd love to have a go. So Kath says she hardly watches mainstream TV. No, and Kath, I was watching Netflix at one stage, and I don't have a Netflix. I was watching Netflix in the time when people could share their Netflix subscription with their friends. Okay, so that happened to me. I was very lucky, very fortunate that one of my wonderful friends shared her Netflix account with me. So I was watching Virgin River, and that had been recommended by Kath. So I was watching Virgin River, and I watched the first series, and I think it was whatever the next. I don't know how many series has been out, but anyway, I think there was 2, and I think it's the 3rd one now. But I might be totally wrong on that, and I'm sure Kath will put me right. So recently, of course, Netflix stopped you being able to share your account. Steve doesn't watch mainstream either. He catch-up dramas and a lot of YouTube podcasts. Excellent. Steve's mum's on pension credit, at least at the moment. Yes, and even that, you never know whether it's going to be taken away or whether they're going to change it. So anyway, so Kath told me Kath told me recently that the next series of Virgin River was out. And, so there'll be about 9 or 10 episodes in a series, something like that. I don't know exactly. Anyway, so because I was at my daughter's and because she has Netflix, I was able to start watching the series. And then, of course, I was going to pop home and that. And I thought, I need to watch. So I binge watched. I don't know. I don't do a lot of this. Because I'm, coming and going all over the place. I binge watched 8 episodes, and they were an hour long. I sat one day and watched most of Virgin River. That last series. In fact, it was funny because Kath was messaging me about Virgin River, and she didn't realise I hadn't finished it. It didn't matter, and it certainly didn't spoil it for me. But I hadn't quite got to the end, and she was saying something about it. I said, I'm just at this bit. And it didn't matter. The things I don't like are people spoiling things like The Traitors or Strictly Results. Those are very different. And 6 seasons now, Kath's saying there have been 6. Oh, gosh, is it as many as that, Kath? I didn't know. I really didn't know. Steve's watching silent movies from the 20s too, all on YouTube, and they're magical. It's amazing, isn't it, what you can find these days? There's not enough hours in the day to watch them all. So season 7, that's right, Kath, season 7 has been approved of Virgin River, but we have to wait another year. Okay, all right, well, I'll have to be patient then, won't I? So yeah, that's right. So it was the seasons, so it was 6th season, and I watched 8 episodes in almost one sitting. And I probably had to get out and go and have some food and that sort of thing, and pay visits various. But that was a day and a half. That was so exciting. Ailey's saying my work is amazing as usual. Lynn, thank you. That's very nice. Steve says you can. Right, so. Steve, Richard's saying, Steve, you can make an online declaration that you don't watch live BBC or use iPlayer, and you can save £164 as you don't need a license. Okay. So remember us watching This Is Us on Prime. So good. This Is Us. I can't remember. Can I remember that? Are you saying you remember that, Kath, or have I watched that? No, Steve. No, you can't. You need a license if you're watching iPlayer, but if you're not watching iPlayer, you don't. So no, I know that's right, isn't it? You can't. You can make a declaration if you that you don't watch live BBC or you don't use iPlayer. That's what he means. So no, you do need it if you watch iPlayer, but if you're not watching iPlayer, you don't need it. So right, you can't remember what really. Right, it's gone up by up to £15 a month. Right, okay. Well, I know that I really use my TV license a lot now. I watch a lot of the daytime TV things. Well, I was going to say this is when I was at home and I'm spending a lot of time at my daughter's, but even now I'm spending time at my daughter's. I still watch a lot of TV because I'm there, but I'm not always right in with the family. I'm supporting family, but I still have times in the day when I can sit and knit and watch TV or do whatever. I help out and do things, but I still got a lot of time that I can, watch things. And my daughter, I never watched things like The Traitors, but because I've been at my daughter's, they were all watching it, and I got hooked on it. I even got hooked back into EastEnders. I can't believe that. I used to watch EastEnders years ago, and then I thought, oh, I don't like that. It's doom and gloom. It's so miserable and all that. But my daughter loves it, and I understand why, because it's a form of escapism, isn't it, from the real world. So I get it. But anyway, I've got hooked on that again now because my daughter was watching it, and I always like to sit with her and and do my knitting. I got hooked on that, but The Traitors, I wasn't watching it at all, and they had been watching it, so I got totally hooked. So this week. It finished. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but it finished on Friday. Well, we'd watched up to Wednesday, and then on when did I come away? Wednesday. What did I do? When did I come? When did I travel? I travelled on Friday, didn't I? That's right. So I went back to my daughter's on Wednesday. So we watched Wednesday nights. That's right. And then Thursday we didn't watch it because something happened and we didn't sit down. I like to do it with her because I think that's nice. We're spending time together, so let's sit together and watch it rather than me watch it at one time and her watch it at the other. And so we didn't watch it on Thursday. And of course, then I travelled on Friday, so I hadn't watched it. So she went ahead and watched it because there's no point in us not watching it. If we don't watch it now, somebody will spoil it. There'll be spoiler alert, and somebody will put the results out, and then it'll spoil it for us. So I said, go ahead and watch it. So she watched it, and then I watched Thursdays, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to have to watch Fridays straight away because otherwise somebody will spoil it. And it was so good. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but it was really good. I can't believe that I actually got into something like that, but I did, and I loved it. Let's have a look. Right, hang on. Right, hang on. I've lost it. Right, Steve says he watches a lot on iPlayer. Kath more or less binge watched it too. Excellent. Richard says, same Kath, you can make online declaration to TV licensing, and if you don't watch live TV or use BBC iPlayer, you won't need it. Pay for license as you don't need to pay for it if you don't. But I am using I use iPlayer a lot. I love things like Richard Osman's House of Games, which is at 6 o'clock on every weekday at 6 o'clock on BBC Two, but I don't usually watch it then. I watch it on iPlayer, catch up. But I love it. It's a quiz sort of show, and it's things that are not too difficult. It's not so highbrow quiz. I don't like highbrow quizzes. I like things that I can understand. So that's quite fun. I can answer a lot of the things on there, and they have 4 contestants, and they do these. They come in every day. So there's a winner on Monday and a winner on Tuesday, and there are these prizes with Richard Osman's face all over them. So like a wheelie case, a suitcase, or a compost bin, or a deck chair, or all sorts of things with Richard Osman's face on. And lots of fun things. And it's a fun program. There's a lot of humour amongst the contestants, and then on the last day they present a trophy. On the Friday they present a trophy to the overall winner with the most points of the week, and that's quite fun. I love that, but I just watch it whenever I've got the time. If it's I don't usually watch it live. I like Morning Live if I'm around, or I watch that on iPlayer. I love Rip Off Britain because I like to keep up with all the things that are going on. I do watch a lot of scam programs so that I hope I don't get scammed, because these people are so clever now. So lots of things like that. I love Escape to the Country, those sort of things. So I'm really getting my money's worth now out of my TV license, which once upon before I wasn't home much. I was always out live streaming, and so there was no point, because I didn't have time to watch any programs before I was ill with pneumonia. I was out, so there was no point. And then sometimes I'd come home just before 10 o'clock at night, and then I'd be live streaming. No point. So, but it's my life has changed, and now it's worth having it. Tell us about the family, and it's get back and forth through the generations. Oh, right, okay. I don't know that I watched that. Did I watch that? I don't know. I forget what I do watch sometimes. Dementia setting in, maybe. Right, oh no, that's that. Let's have a look. In Scotland, you don't need a TV license. You get 3 warnings to get a TV license. They'll not put you in jail for not having a TV license, and they can't take your TV out of your house. Right, thanks, Ailey, for that. Kath watches iPlayer and listens to Radio 4. I don't do any listening to Radio 4. Mine's iPlayer, YouTube, because obviously things like the craft shows, I love watching those, so they're on YouTube. Yes, so Richard's just reaffirming that you do need a license, Steve, if you're watching iPlayer. Everyone's always shouting at each other in EastEnders. Yes, they are. I know, but must be a very bitter place. On the other hand, I'd get a lot of gossip from the window. You certainly would. You'd get so much gossip. They'd all come to you, Steve, to share the gossip, wouldn't they? See, that goes back to the days of Mr. Formby. Ha ha ha. And it would cost the government a lot of money to put you in court over a TV license, says Ailey. Oh yes, that's right, Formby. I get it now. Richard's talking about Formby. That there's a song called "When I'm Cleaning Windows," so that's what that reference is that Richard's just making. And of course, Steve is the window cleaner. Window cleaner Steve in the house. Do you know what? So those of you who are regular viewers will know that I keep bumping into Steve. So there's Steve, the window cleaner here. There was Steve, the passenger assist guy. There was Steve. There were all these different Steves I kept meeting. So the train, one of the trains was when coming up here where I am now. The train was very busy. I hit Friday rush hour, and I got on before lots of people got on, so I got my seat, and that was fine. But the train got very busy, and there was an empty seat next to me, so I moved and let a gentleman sit down there. And I've completely forgotten why I was going to tell you this now. Where was I going with that story? I can't remember. I don't know. It was something to do with window. Oh yes. So this guy who sat next to me, I said, we were getting into deep in conversation. I said, "Excuse me." I said, "What's your name? Is it Steve?" And he wasn't a Steve. I forgot what his name is. I think he was a Dave. But I just had to think, is he a Steve? But he wasn't a Steve, so it wasn't another Steve coming into my world. Undone need TV license for radio cat. Sadly, you don't need one obviously for the radio, but for BBC iPlayer you do. Okay. So Richard doesn't buy one because he doesn't watch any of that. So you've missed a bit, as they're the first ones who said it. Oh, right. You missed a bit on cleaning windows, I suppose is what you mean, Steve. Yes, you missed a bit. I listen to your local radio station a lot, Murray Firth Radio. That's Ailey in Scotland. Yay, says Steve. Kath is enjoying Diane Buswell and Joe's YouTube vlogs. Oh, I love those. So anybody who doesn't know, Diane Buswell's one of the dancers from Strictly Come Dancing in the UK, and I don't know how many years ago it was. Joe Sugg partnered with her. So he was the person come in to learn the dancing, and after the program, they became an item, and they've been together for some years now. Well, Joe was a vlogger. He thatched roofs. That was his job, and he was Thatcher Joe. That was his name, and so he was vlogging. And I was listening or reading somewhere the other day that Diane was so pleased when she was partnered with Joe, because she knew she was starting to vlog, and she knew he had a massive audience for his vlog, so she thought, oh great, it would rub off. Anyway, when they became a couple, of course it has, and she's got a massive following now on her vlogs, so she vlogs a lot. I find that very interesting. I dip in and dip out, so they both got their separate channels. Yes, and it's quite fun. And recently, of course, Diane is Australian, and recently her parents came to the UK. They'd never seen her dance over here, and so that we were hoping that she and her partner would stay, or they were hoping that they would stay in the competition until at least week 7, which was when I think it was week 7, Diane's parents were going to arrive from Australia and be able to be in the studio or in the dance place and where at the ballroom, and see her dancing. And of course, not only did they see her dancing, they went on to see her lift the glitter ball with her partner Chris. And she did an amazing job, because she was dancing with a guy who had no sight. And so, not only was he taking on something that he, was just a massive thing to do, but she, as his teacher, had to have exceptional skills in order to teach him, because she couldn't stand and demonstrate a dance because he couldn't see it. And she had to come out with some extraordinary skills, but it was amazing. And they lifted the glitter ball, and I was glad, because I wanted them to be, to lift the glitter ball. So that was great. Donna listens to Radio 2 and a lot too. Auntie. A lot to Auntie. Oh, Auntie, as in the BBC was always called Auntie. I haven't heard that reference for a long time. So, hi, Donna. Steve Windows could be your... Yes, it could. Hello, we'll call you Steve Windows. All right. So, Pearson Family. Is that another TV thing? So Steve is off at 10:30. So wait a minute, we've done 2 hours now. So 8:15, 9:15, 10:15. It must be nearly 10:30 now, because I can see we've been live for 2 hours and 11 minutes, and I was pretty much on time, I think, going live today. Nearly time for bed. Yes, I need to go in a minute, because I'm with family and I should be down chatting with them, but I expect they're watching their own program, and then I'll go and join them in a minute. So if you want escapism, the Archers. Yes, my dad used to listen to the Archers. That was lovely. Your late Buddhist friend Sarah Card played Caroline in the Archers. Oh, excellent. Same Churchman played Grace Archer, who was from Sutton Coldfield, lived to 100. She passed away July 2024. We've all been doing great. We've been adopting birds and a dog to help people that are in hospital due to some new virus. Hopefully we will not be going back to the lockdown. There we go. Oh no. So Ailey's saying that she's Donna Macmillan's auntie. I thought Donna was talking about the BBC and the auntie. Grace Archer, not Grace Archer. I did guess that was Grace Richard. So I am getting very tired. I do think I need to go and get some beauty sleep. I am meeting up with Debs and Kath tomorrow. I don't want to be fast asleep and oversleep and miss my coffee appointment with them. That will never do, will it? So there we go, folks. It's been shenanigans on the trains. It's been crafting and all sorts of things. And, I've got to get my crochet hook out and make some houseplants. Don't forget, We want loads and loads. If any of you are able to knit any of these, knit or crochet these smoothie hats, we're collecting these for Age UK Isle of Wight. They will go on to the smoothie bottles in the shops, in the supermarkets later in the year. If the Isle of Wight supporters, the Age UK Isle of Wight supporters, knit over 12,500, all that money, 30p a hat, will stay on the Isle of Wight for use on the island. There are a lot of people knitting. Helen at Isle of Wool threw down the gauntlet and challenged the Isle of Wight Grannies community, the Go Live Grannies community, to knit more than that. So Helen and her Anne, who helps her in the Isle of Wool shop, threw down the gauntlet and said, we challenge the Go Live Granny community to make more hats than we can make in the shop, and they're pretty efficient and quick at making them. So I threw it out as a challenge. I know that Linda Pugh's she's done a huge amount. She said to me, some of you have done them already. My daughter's going great guns. I'm so thrilled to see that she's come in on the challenge. Lots of you. I'm doing as many as I can, but I have got other projects to do in between as well, including a cardigan for the wedding for one of the little people and one or two other things. But, we want to hit that 12,500 and some, so that we get all that money for Age UK Isle of Wight. So I'm going to leave it. I'm going to park it there for now, and look forward to my coffee meetup with Kath and Debs tomorrow. Steve saying night Lynn, night everyone. Who'll try and leave our office a little later next Sunday so you don't miss the live link. Oh, that's right, because you alternate, don't you? You're there sometimes and there. And Kath's going to say goodnight. Time for her to go too. So thank you so much, everybody. It must be about 10:30 now, I think. I can see that we've had a few viewers in. Some may be chatting, some may be just watching in the background. Perfectly fine. If you've enjoyed it, do say that you've enjoyed it. Do share it so other people can come on in and enjoy it, whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on YouTube. It doesn't matter. Night everybody. See you soon, and I'm sure there will be more shenanigans in the week to come. So I will see you next Sunday. I don't know where I'm broadcasting from next Sunday. I think it might be from my daughter's. You never know. I never know. So how can I tell you? You started knitting for the tourist ships coming into Invergordon. Excellent. Well, you carry on doing that, and that's brilliant, Ailey. You support there. Heather saying thank you so much. Sweet dreams and restful sleep. Yes, I feel really tired now. So thanks everybody. Love you lot. See you soon. Bye.